talking a little bit about Miami Vice because we were upstairs looking at the costumes from the TV show, but the film, the Michael Mann film, it must have been an influence.
Yeah, I love it. I don't really watch movies. Well, when I make films, I for like probably about a year before I make movies, I stop watching films, and I don't even really watch movies that much in general anymore. When I was a kid, I really was very voracious, but I slowed down and started to become more inward in some ways, and the only film I really watched was the Michael Mann movie, the Miami Vice movie, which I really love. I would watch it without the sound because it's so textural. It's like really it's physical. It's about colors to me, and a type of like even an ambience and a tone, which is like is important to me to make a film that's this culture is very much about a culture of surfaces and the way things look, and then all the kind of ideas from the characters and the storyline is the residue of that. So that was something, and also because it was a Florida film, and I love that movie. When I was a kid, when I was going to visit my grandparents in Florida, and it was a weird place. Everyone seemed like they were on the witness protection program. And because it was just like people go there because it's the sun and there's these dreams, the dream of the sun, and like, but then it's just doesn't work out, and then people like go back into the shadows, and I always felt like there was violence in there.
Tony Yerkovich wrote the pilot's screenplay for the show. I read it in 1984, 1985. And when I first read it, my first instinct was to have this not go forward as a pilot for a television series, but to make this as a feature film that I would direct. It was, that wasn't possible. Way early on, my attraction to this material was to direct this as a feature film. So this wasn't a kind of afterthought in 2005, or wouldn't it be a new, good first idea to go ahead and direct this as a movie. I had always wanted to do this material, this content. So the motion picture I knew was going to be delivered into an audience that had a complex and divergent set of attitudes about it. So the advantage of it, in a way, is that the brand name Miami Vice is known. The disadvantage is that it means many different things to many different people. The environment in which it's happening is almost like an opiate. It's almost too beautiful. That combination of drama happening in this very lush, romantic place, those two things together made everything poignant and magnified. That was the allure. That was the real attraction to me of why I wanted to make it into a film in 1984 and 85, and eventually did in 2006. This is my second time with director of photography Dion Beebe. We worked together on Collateral, and then we did this picture together. The requirements of shooting in high def are very difficult, and it's difficult for a lot of cameramen because it is an inversion of everything you do when you're working with photochemical, meaning motion picture film. On film, you use light to illuminate areas that are dark, and you try and protect the blacks by making blacks stay black. And high def is a complete inversion, where you're protecting the whites, and you're trying to make it so that they don't clip. And there's quite a difficult learning curve. My ambition was to try and generate a big distinction between people who remember the television series from 20 years ago, in which Miami was very much more of a kind of a small city, to the world of Miami that we find today, which is muscular. And that difference in Miami is a dynamic city. But I wanted the theatrical experience of seeing the movie to inject you without any prelude right into their Saturday night. It's like it's 11:17 on Saturday night, and at 11:18 the movie begins. One of the things that attracted me to use high-def digital video again was the promise of the kind of burnished, sun-baked imagery I could make in daylight. I think there aren't that many day scenes in the film. And it's another reason why I use high-def video, because it sees, not only is it seen in the night, but the extraordinary depth of field allows you to see the foreground of Tubbs' face in focus and close, and the background you can still make out the shapes and it still feels real. If it were filmed, they would just be amorphous, diffused, defocused kind of blobs of light. In this scene in particular, I think that there's real painting with light going on here, and the way that the shafts of light from above, the way they illuminate the characters against the back wall and allow Yarrow to move backwards in his chair in and out of light, and what you see and don't see of the murals behind Crockett and Tubbs. We're now in a whole different environment, and we don't know where we are. The sense of it is that it's foreign, and if it feels foreign, then we succeeded. And how we succeeded is actually in the color temperature of the interior lights. We came to call them, when we did the color timing on the film in the end, that we need Paraguayan lights. It's redder than normal tungsten. There's a great piece of lightning here. We were a day away from, I believe, another tropical storm coming in. It then takes us into an aerial shot over the Iguazu Falls. This is an interesting sequence from a technical point of view. This is a visual effect shot, and what you're seeing are three different components combined. The car itself was shot without people in it, of course, with actual live 50-millimeter rounds from exactly the kind of rifles that are being characterized here. So the destruction is real. These weren't squibs going off. Obviously, we separately put actors in seats, and were able to put the actors from the green screen background that we shot and combine them with the actual destruction of the car. I was in a quandary about whether or not to use In the Air Tonight or a piece of score in this scene, and that quandary was emblematic about the whole prospect of making Miami Vice a motion picture. So then you're dealing with memory as cultural memory of the show, as memory exists in the audience, and the memory of the show in the minds of audience is very different for different people. People remember the show differently. They like different things about it. In setting up background and character, the tricky part of this for me was that the characters are so well known in everybody's memory of the television show. Some of that training that Colin and Jamie did had to do with driving. Whenever there were driving cars, we went to great lengths to make sure that they could do it. That meant driving on wet skid pads, dry skid pads, braking, turn-in, throttle control, braking exercises, and then running road courses at low speed and high speed. Colin Farrell himself, in some of the later shots you're going to see, is driving Mojo, the MTI, and he's doing about 70 in very gentle 6-foot swells, 70 miles an hour, and a boat is fast. These palm trees being blown around by this wind, while the wind was also hitting Crockett's hair and Isabella's hair, and the windswept skies, and it was strange because when we weren't shooting, it was very still, and as soon as we began to shoot, the wind came up, and it was just absolutely accidental. What wasn't accidental are the trees. We planted about 14 of them because I wanted more trees on that lot, but I didn't expect the wind to come up. I found the mood of it, kind of striking, and it was particularly because the ground is gray, the water was kind of muddy brown and gray, and the sky was gray, and it had a certain coldness in the air that I found very real. I'd have had difficulty if it was one of these beautiful Floridian days where everything looked like a picture postcard.